I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome all. We have the agenda before us. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions from the agenda?
Yes, I have one for under communications, Chairman. I would like to add Pembroke Association.
Anything else? Okay, the agenda will stand as edited. So the first item will be the fiscal officer's report. Mr. Wolf.
Thank you. Fiscal Officer number 1 is a resolution to authorize the payment of pending warrants in the amount of $290,873.73.
So moved.
Good.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 2 is a resolution to authorize payment of regular payroll in an amount not to exceed $250,000.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 3 is a resolution to authorize the payment for the following medical claims.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 4 is a resolution to authorize the following transfer of funds.
So moved?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 5 is a resolution to request an additional amended certificate of estimated resources from the Stark County Auditor for $377,131.72 and to appropriate these funds as follows.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 6 is a resolution that the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and its certification be and the same are hereby accepted, and be it further resolved that there be and is hereby levied on the tax duplicate of Plain Township the rate of each tax necessary to be levied within and without the 10 mil limitation as follows.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes? Fiscal Officer number 7 is a resolution to authorize a refund as follows for overpayments for EMS as requested by Ohio Billing.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 8 is a resolution to authorize the benefits of the annual physical skills assessment payable from fund account 2111220-112 on November 3rd, 2023 to members of the Plain Township Firefighters Association who meet the requirements of the attached schedule.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion.
Just
I
as a
would-
quick
Go ahead.
As a quick question. I mean, I know this is our contractual obligation, but like, what do we have to do to get 100% participation? From the time you was chief to now, is it just some have,
Well, actually, we have.
This looks like a good
all
head
but
count,
two,
but-
and one didn't complete in time.
Okay.
And one's on medical leave, so they're not available.
All right.
And then one had a medical reason why they didn't do it. So I have 3
Okay.
that didn't complete out of all the full-time people.
all right.
And when it is in the top 3 most common cancers in firefighters, you would think that they would take it upon themselves to take advantage of this.
Yeah,
It's just, I think, kudos to us being able to offer this and get it in there, based on those numbers, but, you got to help us help you. And,
So to the point outside of full, and I know we've there's certain part-timers that you wouldn't have this
Yeah, some of our part-timers are only EMTs.
Yeah.
So they're not required under the
Yeah.
firefighter standard. And under all the part-timers, obviously, they don't have the October time limit because, there's no bonus for them. So I've got 2 that need to finish yet, and they're going to do them this month.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
As a whole, even though they wouldn't be part of this, let's. for
yeah, all our
contractual reasons,
part-timers,
They're, those that would fall under that purview as a firefighter,
yeah.
paramedic on a part-time basis.
If they have firefighter in their job description, they have the same skill requirement as a full-time person. And we did that on purpose, basically so we could hire, hopefully, out of our
Yes.
part-time
Yeah, right.
ranks,
Yeah.
So they understood what, they needed to do.
All right.
Okay. Anything else? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 9 is a resolution to certify the lighting district established in Plain Township and is shown on the attached list for the tax year 2023 to the Stark County Auditor for the period of 1 year.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 10 is a resolution to amend the Resolution 23-441 to authorize payment of up to $21,320 to the Ohio Auditor of State to be taken from Fund 1000-110-500 for the 2021-2022 financial audit of the township.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Roll call. Sorry.
No, I was just simply going to, now that it's been a full year under the belt with the new system, did it audit go pretty smooth?
Yeah, it's been pretty smooth. The 2021 was still under the old system, so
Yeah.
it's kind of been back and forth.
Okay.
Just added a little extra time, but
Good.
going forward, it'll all be under UAN.
All right.
Anything else? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes? Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 11 is a resolution to authorize Eslick Wrecking Company to demolish the declared house located at 4212 34th Street Northeast, Plain Township, Stark County, parcel number 52-00215, in an amount not to exceed $5,100 from Fund 1760730, and that all expenses so incurred by the Plain Township Board of Trustees will be entered upon the tax duplicate, and there will be a lien upon the property from the date of entry.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 12 is a resolution to establish Fund 2903 First Responder Retention Fund for grant funding and to certify this fund to the Stark County Auditor.
So moved.
Second?
Seconded by Brooke. It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Good job on that, Joe. That's,
And thanks to fiscal, because it's a very complicated
Yeah.
grant.
Yeah.
And Tom, I didn't know he had to do this part of it tonight too, so obviously I didn't even know we had to do a special fund for it. But
Yeah.
So I appreciate him doing that.
perfect. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
That concludes the Fiscal Officer report.
Thanks, Tom. Take a breath. That takes us to the administrator. For the record, both our administrator and our zoning superintendent are excused this evening. So, Rob, are you going to do this?
I can.
No, I mean,
Yeah, I can do it.
oh, all right, Eric will do it.
Yep, it's just a resolution for payment to the Treasurer of the State of Ohio for our annual stormwater MS4 annual discharge fee in an amount not to exceed $2,100.
I will move on administrator number 1.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes. Thanks, Eric. That now takes us to the Fire Department Chief Schallenberger.
Thank you. Item number 1 is a resolution by the Plain Township Board of Trustees to authorize purchase and payment for tires from Ziegler Tire and Supply not to exceed $6,000.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion?
This is likely the fastest thing we get in for any type of vehicle-related stuff. I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
yeah. Just seems like we get
18 to
yeah.
24 month lead times on these.
Yep.
It's a couple weeks to get some of them, but yeah, we're getting ready for winter, so we're just trying to get our ambulances, new treads there. So get ready for the snow. Hopefully, we won't have much, but
Yep.
have to be ready for it.
Anything else? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
And that concludes fire department. Thank you.
Chuck, that takes us to road, JP.
Thank you. Road item number 1 is a resolution to authorize services and payment to Sunbelt Reynolds for in-person trench excavation safety training for the road and fire department.
So moved.
Second, it's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Good job on that. That's, especially even including the fire department, because let's think about this. God forbid something happened either way. You two are going to be the first to make that connection anyhow. So it just makes sense to do that. So, yep.
So, I know just a random question here, but is there any benefit even for Rob's guys to, not that they're doing road construction, but if you were around,
We,
happen to be around, I'm just
yeah,
pure.
we talked about that in a staff meeting. Lisa didn't think it was at this time.
I just
Yeah.
asked.
That was a good question. Yeah.
Because we always try to include all the departments. So,
Yep.
I know some other ones he's interested in that we're doing that, but this item, again, that's on Rob too. If he'd want his guys in, we still have time.
Yeah. Okay, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Thank you. Road item number 2 is just a resolution to enter into an agreement with ODOT for the purchase of brine solution for snow and ice operations.
So moved.
Second?
Been moved and seconded. Discussion? Hope we don't have to use much of it.
Yeah, just for the record, same price as last year. So
Good.
6 cents.
Good.
But again, that's a lot cheaper than the tonnage of salt. That
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's for
Good price.
sure. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
And that concludes road.
Thanks, JP. Nothing from zoning. We'll go to Parks, Mr. Steinberg.
Thank you. Item number 1 is a resolution to accept a change order credit from Echo Solutions.
So moved.
Second?
Been moved and seconded. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 2 is a resolution to hire Xavier Full as a soccer supervisor and concessions worker.
So moved.
Second's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Item number 3 is a resolution to accept the attached letter of support for the Visit Canton Destination Enhancement Grant.
So moved.
Second's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Item number 4 is a resolution for purchase and payment to Bears Lawn and Garden for a cabin blower attachment for the Ventrac.
So moved.
Second?
Been moved and seconded. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
And number 5 is a resolution for purchase and payment to Terry's Truck and Trailer for 1 aluminum de-icer.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
That concludes Parks.
Thanks, Rob. That takes us now to nothing from the law director, communications, Pembroke.
Yes, I wanted to read a card that the Pembroke Homeowners Association sent. Dear Brooke, thank you for attending the Pembroke Homeowners Association annual meeting this past Monday. Your presentation and Plain Township staff members, J.P. Neff and Rob Steinberg, were very informative, as was Sergeant Koenig's comments. We appreciate that the 4 of you took the time to attend our annual meeting. All of the comments from the 4 of you regarding township activities have been implemented this year were very informative. Sincerely, the Pembroke Board of Directors. So thank you, gentlemen, for going with me.
Yep. That's obviously reaching out to people at the ground level,
So, as a quick question, because I know in years, do they still bring up any of the flooding from the old ditch? I'm just.
No, I've gone for the last.
How grown that is.
No, I've gone for the last 3 years. The only thing they bring up is the
Asphalt curb.
asphalt curbing that keeps breaking.
can't
We all
get.
know what the answer is to that
Yeah.
one. so.
And I kept telling them that I was like, I'm
Yeah.
bringing JP because they're
Don't
obviously
throw
not
stones.
listening.
yeah. That brings us to the portion of the meeting of public speaks. If anyone in the audience wish to address the board at this time, please feel free to do so. Anyone in the audience that wishes to address the board? Seeing none, we do have a need for Let me see. Whoops, sorry, we got to get back to some business.
Yeah, approval of minutes.
Yeah, we got to
Which-
approve minutes. No,
I'll
we're
move
gonna
on
do
those
that
for October
first.
10th.
And I will second that. It's been moved and seconded. Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes. Now, we do have a need for an executive session. Be it hereby resolved by the Plain Township Board of Trustees, Stark County, Ohio, to adjourn to executive session at 6:15 PM from this regular meeting of October 24th, 2023, as authorized under Ohio Revised Code 121.22G for the purpose of the consideration of number 3, a conference with the law director or other retained counsel concerning disputes involving the township that are the subject of pending or imminent court action.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.